Hi, I'm Eileen Bild. I'm with OTEL Talk, and I have another contributor for our book called Mayhem to Miracles, and her name is Myriam. Hi, Myriam.
Hi, Eileen. I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, I'm excited for you to be here. I can't wait till we talk about your contribution because it's so dear to my heart. And I love the process that you went through. So I look forward to diving in. But first, I want to introduce you. So Myriam was born in Tunisia, North Africa. She was developmentally more advanced than the average child, walking, talking, singing, and dancing early. I love that. We spent 9 years. Yes. I mean, to walk, talk, sing, dance, and be born doing that. It's awesome. So she spent 9 years working in a high-level consultant and management position in information technology, human resource and research, only to realize my perfectionism syndrome was damaging myself and those around me. So today, Myriam is a mentor with a passion for empowering others. And I will say you do have a passion for that and just have this beautiful light and loving heart. And I can't wait to talk about it. So your contribution to this book, you titled it The Unbirthday Gift. Which when I saw that, I was like, what in the heck does that mean? But of course, I thought of Alice in Wonderland, right?
Exactly. I mean, like, you are not the only one having this impression.
Right. So I think I want to start off by asking you to just start at the beginning of this journey, this story. And then as you go along, we'll transition and go into the different aspects. But I want you to start where you want to begin.
Well, that's actually a little bit tricky. But
my point.
It has been such a journey, actually, and I'm so grateful for all the traumas that made it possible for me to see the trap, to see all the lies, and to get free, to break free, to get my freedom back, my power back. Like, because I was so ready and eager to be really myself. I have been really miserable my whole life, to be very honest with you, despite being developmentally very early, which was not really a choice. I was just pushed to be the perfect little girl because it is really a good image to give to the world.
Right.
And it has been really so difficult to be first on my promotion, my whole educational courses, to be best employee. It was really taking a toll on my mental health. In everybody's eyes, I was really having the fabulous life. I was the perfect girl, having this fabulous life, having all those great achievements, and deep inside, I mean, suffering from this imposter syndrome. Oh my goodness. I mean, perfectionism syndrome is like the word people know, like yes, commonly used, but it's a syndrome we call the imposter syndrome. No matter what you do, no matter what you achieve, you always feel like an imposter. And actually, if I may, I want to tell you about a little bit how this imposter syndrome was formed. It's part of the detachment style, actually, because when you are raised in a dysfunctional emotional system where you are conditionally loved and or inconsistently, and I bet like so many people would be able to relate.
Yes.
around the globe. Yeah,
I was
you
just
too.
talking with somebody yesterday who said and admitted that he has the imposter syndrome. So it's very prevalent, very common.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yes, and unfortunately, it causes people to kind of get trapped in that and energy of that imposter syndrome. And I think a lot of people don't know how to get out, and you were able to. So continue your story.
Oh, thank you. I'll try my best. So I mean, like, it was the achiever part of the syndrome, which was like, yeah, giving all the credits for this perfect girl and employee. And the most important part was the attachment style, because like you are raised in a dysfunctional system, and as a kid, in the quality of course, many parents of those who raise the kids with an imposter syndrome are very intrinsically good people. They are just diving into life with their own heavy psychological baggage and lacking the self-awareness endowment. Sadly enough, that's the trap. So when you are in this system, you are a kid. You are so craving being loved unconditionally, and you are unable to believe that your caregivers are anything less than perfect.
Right.
So what are you gonna do? You need to be the villain of the story. You need to find a way, to find a narrative to keep this image, this perfect image of your parents, and you need to build some coping mechanisms and strategies so that to be able to get some love, at least from time to time,
Right.
And part of those strategies is the attachment styles. And I love the attachment theory for a very simple reason. I mean, it gives you, it's so powerful in understanding deeply the human behavior and how people relate to each other and interact with each other. It's so powerful. I just love it. And especially the new updates and the new subtypes of it. So I was what we call the fearful avoidant attached person, and it's actually also called the disorganized attachment style. I mean, it's really very understandable because it's a combination of two opposite poles. On one hand, you crave connectedness, you crave closeness, you crave intimacy, you invest wholeheartedly yourself in the relationship because you think that this will be the same thing from the other side. If you invest, the more you invest, the more people will also pay attention and give to you what you need. And along with this process, you learn to be attuned, so very attuned to people.
Yes.
You are expert in understanding and observing the body language and the tiny mood swings, so that you know what to do, so that you really answer effectively, not to get into trouble, or at least to get some appreciation. And because the conscious mind, when we are lacking education, does not know that this is just a subconscious survival strategy. We really believe and very honestly that this is the way to do. This is what all people are supposed to do. That if we understand your needs, because we are mind readers, then anybody else is supposed to do the same, which is obviously very far from the truth.
Yes, not true.
No, at all. And that's when the other opposite pole starts. Because when you are giving so much and getting disappointed and getting resentful, at some point you completely disengage and it's instant. You don't really even explain anything. And it's like you become just cold and very disengaged from the relationship. One of them is self-doubt.
Okay, Myriam, you stopped for a few minutes. I'm gonna hold on a second. I'm gonna open my door because sometimes it's my internet connection. So the last thing I heard was what did I hear? You were talking about up to where when that's happening, it's not true. It's not really true. So whatever you said after that, you froze.
All right, let me try to remember.
I know.
Okay.
And I can cut out where it froze and up to where you start talking again.
Sure. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. Wherever I can continue from there and say something else. It's okay. Okay. So are we ready?
Yes.
Yes. So it's really not true, simply. And actually, there is or other factors that would be, sorry, I need to know, because I forgot something else.
Oh, what did you forget?
Try again. Yeah. Because I said that there is the other pole, opposite
right,
pole.
The other pole.
When we disengage, yes. Is this one recorded or?
Yes, it is. I haven't stopped the recording because I can cut things out.
All right. Okay. So this one is okay. All right. Okay. So it's simply not true. And maybe in my case, there are other factors that have been contributing to making my relationships, our previous relationships, luckily, suffer. And those are self-doubt, which is a huge part of the imposter syndrome, like the never enough. So I mean, like, there are some people, when you disengage, they can come back to you, sometimes with shallow apologies, sometimes with sincere but not able to be accountable afterwards, and some shed tears probably, and you are just like, oh, okay, so maybe I was really having such an exaggerated reaction, and obviously this was very helped by another factor, which is the outward pathway that my inner child chose in the midst of chaos, which is the unaware impact. So I mean, like, by unaware, I mean that I was lacking self-respect, self-consideration, self-appreciation, self-care. I mean, in a word, I was really lacking a clear sense of self and strong and healthy boundaries. So when those people can come and yeah, I mean, like, try to get back into the relationship, I was feeling so empathetic, and that it was like just in a game of kids,
Right.
It was so obvious for me to come back to the relationship and to give it so many other trials, why it is a toxic one and that it will never change anyway. And yeah, basically those three factors were really, really like jeopardizing any relationship, because I was having my responsibility in not only not respecting myself, but also not seeing that I was just attracted to what I was familiar with, which is by definition unhealthy, since my being is not healthy anyway. So one of those attractive people was a malignant narcissist, or what some call a psychopath, without antisocial traits.
Oh, yeah, yes. they're very difficult, and they play mind games with you, and you question yourself. And it sounds like, when you came into that relationship, but you already on a path of awakening, so to speak. And so this was almost like a test and a trial for you?
Actually, I would say that it was not the real awakening. up to knowing this person. I was in the research mode. I was in the middle of an existential crisis, I would say, trying to understand what was going on with me. I left my very fancy job in Paris and came back to Tunisia just to try to find out, because I couldn't really even have some energy to wake up from my bed. It was like, I couldn't take any more. Yes, like those burnouts, I've known some of them during my IT project, like IT career in general. So I was in the midst of this existential crisis and trying to use those tools, I would call like positive affirmations, which by the way don't work at all for me, because like they are just overridden by my ingrained limiting beliefs whenever there is an incident that triggers them. And I was spotted by this human predator. Oh yeah.
I'm not sure I've heard it put that way before, but I can see the connection.
Yeah. Yes, I bet you can. I mean, that's the only thing we can call them, because in the narcissism, it's a continuum. Actually, there are tendencies.
Yes.
There are low tendencies, mid tendencies, high tendencies, and then the pathology like stars. There are even many layers, many types, and like low and mid and high. And this malignant narcissist is at the top. They are just remorseless. They are not connected at all to their consciousness. They don't feel empathy. They don't feel remorse. They don't feel anything. So the only word that I can use to describe them is a predator, like you're just trying to feed on others' soul and spirit, just because that's the only thing that you can do. Like there is nothing that's really empty deep inside. So I was spotted by this guy, and I was like, as I told you, just using the tools. So I was in my optimistic, okay, I'm getting like something, probably I'm trying to understand something, and I will be really having my well-being back, because I was not yet in the purpose fair, not yet, just the optimistic outlook on life, which I have been having in my whole life anyway, despite my miserable, chaotic inner world. Right. And it didn't really, I was so easy.
They typically do prey on those that are, givers and kind of, in that innocence of trusting that the other person is the person that you think they are. And they when they find that person, they just latch on, and you don't realize it until it starts to be too late. And then you're going down, and they're gripping even harder. So you're in this relationship, and what happens?
Yes, and that's why part of my work, a big part, is about educating about those patterns and those red flags, because connecting with your intuition only is not enough. You need to be really educated. So I'm in this relationship, and it doesn't take more than probably 4 months to completely destroy my self-esteem. I mean, I was so devastated. I couldn't even find the appropriate word to explain where I was. I was literally in the darkest places I could ever imagine myself to be in. And I really felt so worthless, that life was becoming so meaningless to me, because I used to believe that the world was revolving around my small self. That's where I was. So, and I was okay. Now, if life is not meaningful anymore, then why be here? And I was so ready. I was having my pills, and I was really serious about killing myself. And I don't even understand how this happened, because I know that out of body experiences like happen in general when you are meditating, which was not the case for me. I was sitting on the floor just with my pills in my left hand and ready to go with it. And then this like magical, like
miracles.
I don't know. Yeah. like I'm just seeing myself dissociating from myself, and this servant leader, this original being in all of us, was just showing me all the lies of all my life, all the story of my life. And I was feeling such a limitless gratitude. I mean, like my hand wasn't even on my heart, and I was feeling the beat like so heartily, and my tears, there was a flow of tears, and I couldn't really get what was happening. Actually, I mean, like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? Oh my goodness, what is this? So this is really not about me. This universe is really not revolving about me. This self that I think was myself my whole life is anything but the outcome of something else. It's somebody else's stuff. It's somebody else's problem. It's not mine. And I was able to see that I was here for much bigger than this Myriam, like the person who is having this identity. I was here for a legacy, no matter how big or small, it doesn't matter, but it's just something much greater, and I needed to be here. I cannot leave now. I need to be leaving this legacy before going to another life, most probably if you believe in multiple lives. And that was when I was done. I couldn't even understand how I could breathe again.
Well, it's like you had this overwhelming experience that pretty much it was saying, it's not your time to go. Let me show you why. And I want to take a moment to read a passage from your story in the book that relates to what you're talking about, that I think is important, because it shows how we're just that I part of us is just a very, very small part of life, the breath of life itself, right? So what you said was, my move in my life became the beginning of my rebirth. So you've had all this life experience, you've had all this trauma, and I'm almost thinking you said, you have gratitude for all the traumas in the past that has brought you to where you are. So it's almost like these people were, I like to say, they're volunteers. So they were your volunteer to push you, prod you, kick you into that space to where that realization became a reality for you. That most importantly, you say, during this supernatural dissociation, I could visualize how my purpose on this planet was to carry out a mission that goes beyond me, to be a universal citizen. I like that, by the way. Who would unapologetically contribute through my voice and model servant leadership, which I do believe that it is through our voice and our model leadership. Leading by example is what really guides the world and is that shining light. To create a beautiful world of Pandora, a world where all living creatures would be interconnected and life would be honored and lived to its fullest. And I think that is just so beautiful. And to know that awareness, that knowledge, that understanding of yourself came from such a profound experience.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the appreciation and validation. It means the world to me. And that's why I'm so grateful, by the way, to Dennis Kutoko, our common friend, because I've been knowing through him people like you and many other like-minded and light-hearted folks that can understand what we are talking about.
Yes.
It's not that obvious. And let me just tell you a detail regarding this very particular topic. Some people are asking me in not that compassionate way, why does your divinity or did your divinity save you while so many other people killed themselves? And I mean, it's so telling actually about the chaos that is happening inside of them. Like, you cannot say something like this unless you have some blocking, like something blocking your humility to see beyond yourself or your limited perception. And that's why I really believe that people who are like experiencing something similar as an out-of-body experience, my theory is that they kept their heart open thanks to this humility. If you have enough humility in your heart, then maybe you are able to receive the light that the universe is sending in your direction. And that's something that I mean, is so dear to me, because this is truly what is really attracting me to people who are very, very into the same perception and mindset, and it means really the word to me.
Oh,
so yeah.
Well, and I want to add my thoughts to that question, because I have a dear friend whose son did take his life in February of this year, and we talk about it quite often as to why, and I mean, there's some understanding as to the why behind it, but we believe he was an old soul, and he left his mark. He has a YouTube channel. I think they still have it up. And he had done a philosophical rendering of a movie that had almost 1 million views and lots of comments. So, I think when someone says a question like that, it's part of the human judgment of the things that happen in life. And I've learned over the years that although in the mental mind, things may not make sense to me, but from the heart center spiritual, everything is one mind. I can't judge that. And everybody has their path, everybody has their journey. And if I'm still alive and someone's not, I'm not to judge that for myself or for others, but rather just acknowledge and have gratitude and be grateful for what is and what is happening in the world, no matter what. And there's goodness and there's not goodness, but I can't control, and you can't control what other people choose to do. No. But and all we can do is hold space for that and for the choice that was made. And we don't know beyond that human choice what else was at play. So, it's, and I think in a lot of the self-development, self-growth, spiritual writings, there's a lot that speaks to everybody has their time in physical form, but it's hard for the human mind to accept that, why did the good die young and the bad people still go on in life? I can't explain it other than just this knowing awareness that we all have our purpose, our place, and we go through our experiences to bring us a higher awareness of where we are on that path. And so each experience gives us more knowledge and more information. And I'm sure you've experienced that if you don't get it, the first time that experience comes around, you're going to have the same experience, maybe with different people and different aspects, but the same concept is going to present itself over and over again till you like say, okay, I understand now. I'm ready to move on. And so I think it sounds like, your path, your journey, your miracle of moving through that traumatic personal experience and being able to step back as an observer more so than a participator, to be okay that you were this perfectionist and you were this imposter in your own mind, but reality beyond and behind all of that is your authentic self. And so you're breaking away all these layers to allow that authentic self to blossom, which now we can talk about that metamorphosis stage of this journey that you're talking about. So tell us about that.
Oh yeah, just to add some small details what you're saying, maybe those people who ended their lives, like sadly enough, they are having another purpose in the next life, and they are called for this purpose already. So I mean, like, yeah, it's so beautiful not to know, as you are saying so beautifully. It's just like that we are trying to speculate. Probably sometimes I am guilty of it, because I just like need to have some meaning in anything. But I mean, like, obviously what I love the most is the capacity of people like you and many other beautiful souls like you to review, to alert, to, yeah, okay, maybe this was not the right perception. Maybe this is something that I can review, because unless it is something very clear, like when you can compare it to the universal principles and see that it can violate at least any of the principles, it's still an opinion. It's still a subjective opinion and subjective truth. So yes, yeah. So now I will be going back to the story.
Back to the story.
Yeah. So so after some time, because I couldn't really have enough power and strength to start the inner work just after this experience. I was too fragile. My spirit awakened, my soul was eagerly waiting for being set free, but my mind lacked the strength, the mental strength. So I just needed a few months, probably 3 to 4 months, to just heal the very obvious scars and just get some self-care. And part of my self-care tools here was exercising. And I was still an unconscious person when it comes to exercising. And after a while, after 10 years of only cardio training, I was injured, badly injured in my left patella. And I was, oh my goodness, no, I'm still not ready. I still need my exercising. And I was like, okay, hold on a second. Well, maybe this is the sign that you are ready. And guess what?
There was the sign.
Oh, yes, I listened to the sign, and that was, oh my goodness, that was so painful. Like sometimes it was like seemingly unbearable. And of course, I needed to take some time for myself, because all my previous circle was not what we would call a healthy circle, because I was not healthy anyway. So I didn't really have a support system, a healthy support system. And I needed to take some time for myself, probably 8, 9, 10 months. And this was, I mean, yeah, so beautiful and horrific at the same time, and rewriting the major part of my program. And then at some point in 2020, I discovered some dark secret, and I'm still not talking about it publicly yet, because I'm protecting some dear people. And for me, it was one of the hardest traumas of my life, for sure. I mean, it needed so much strength. I had to go through what we call a self-acceptance grief. And at that time, I was so blessed with having my healthy support system, because I was really like the new me who attracted some healthy people and relationships. And probably without those people, without this support, I would have taken years, because it was really, really, really hard to accept. And in my birthday, so my birthday is 26th of August, and in 2020, so last year, I just decided it wasn't really worth it to celebrate this birthday anymore, because for me, it doesn't mean anything. What I've been living up to that moment of my rebirth was just survival mode. I was never truly living. So for me, it was more accurate and legitimate to celebrate the rebirth, if I would at all, because to me now we can celebrate life every day. It doesn't require any day at all.
I agree.
Yeah, I was having a suspicion. And I was in my co-working space, one of my very favorite ones, and I had a call. I received a call from a friend of mine, a Swedish guy, one of my very, very cherished friends, and he was greeting me for my birthday, and I started talking to him about what was going on, because we didn't talk in a while. And we spent probably 20 minutes where I was sharing everything in the co-working space, and I was crying and laughing and making fun of myself and expressing my gratitude. And I mean, like the whole range of emotions you can ever think of during those 20 minutes. And when I was done, there was a girl. She came in my direction. And yes, because I can be vulnerable in the public space now, I mean, I don't really mind. And she came in my direction, and she was literally shaking and crying. And I was really concerned for her. I mean, I asked, is everything okay? How can I help you? And she was like, no, I mean, you already did. Actually, I'm so sorry. I heard your story you're sharing unintentionally. And I just needed to come. It's the first time in my life that I come talking to a stranger. I just needed to do so. And I just needed to let you know that I am going through some hardship right now. And hearing you, how the way you are talking about your hardships and what you are going through, with all this gratitude, with all this like mesmerizing energy, despite your pain that I could feel so deeply in my heart, has just uplifted my spirit to the extreme levels. And I can never thank you enough for what you just made unintentionally. And I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, this universe is so magical. It's so miraculous. It has other plans. I mean, I decided not to, and it just had other plans for me. And I got the most adorable, precious, priceless gift of all my 36 years in this physical existence.
Yes. Isn't that amazing? I mean, that's the miracle of our journey. If we just allow it to be in that process of that metamorphosis, is that we do have a purpose, but we don't necessarily, have to do anything other than just be ourselves. And the people that are meant to come into our lives to receive whatever it is that we bring through us, because I don't think it comes from us, it comes through us, and they show up and they get what they need.
Absolutely. Isn't that like beyond beautiful. I
It
mean,
is. Well, I think that's the way it's supposed to be. But, we get caught up in the linear, we get caught up in the egoic mind. And I think, you're sharing your story can help people drop into the heart center to become more aware of the trauma, the drama, the chaos, the trials and tribulations. We can appreciate them and be gratitude and have gratitude for those, but not hold on to it. Take the good out of it and use that to move the self forward and to break free. To have that liberation from the mind, the mind heart, and be in that. Because when you have compassion to others and you can do it unconditionally, it's a gift. It's a gift from the universe and reality. And we know through our experience what someone else might be going through, and then we know, having come out of it, what we can share, teach, and guide. And without people who can be the light, then the world wouldn't continue to evolve.
Right. And I mean, to confirm what you're saying, that's the reason most probably why I am moving from mentorship to writing, like mostly. And that's why I am like witnessing every day that my impact is much more effective when I am implicitly modeling servantship in my day-to-day life. And it's so amazing and fulfilling to me to see the bright smiles, like the sparkling face of people I come across and whom I can impact in any way. That's just something that you can't buy. That's just something that shows you how interconnected we are, how beautiful it is when you keep your heart open to receive others' energy and others' offerings and what they are probably trying to show you without pushing you. That's so exquisite to me to witness. And to confirm this, one of my most adored servant leaders in the world is a barista called Lily, and she's working in an airport in Connecticut. And this person, like the respect and love, limited love I owe her is just like, not compared to what I feel for the leaders of the world. And this girl has been working in I think Christmas or Eve, I'm not sure. It was some how do you call it? I forgot the word. It was some vacation, and she was working there without paying attention to the fact that her family probably needs her to be there. She was at the airport serving with a bright smile, with like an enchanting soul. And there was a guy reporting the interaction actually. And he was like he was saying that was thinking there was a camera probably like shooting the scene. And she was just being her very best self, because this is how she decides to show up every day. And he was just like trying to understand, I mean, like how he asked her, how do you do this? How do you do this over serving coffee? And she was like, I'm not serving coffee, you know. And he said, okay, then what are you doing? And she was, I am pouring happiness into people's lives.
I love that.
My gosh. Oh my gosh. I mean, like, oh my gosh. Okay, I can only love you, girls. I mean, like, yeah, this is again something that is so dear to my heart because it doesn't mean anything. What's your name? Where are you from? What is your social status? Whatever you have or own, all that matters to me is how you show up, is
Yes.
what you are giving back to the world every
Right.
day.
And it
That,
could be as simple as a smile, it can be
yeah.
very simple. And I've learned over and over and over again that as a writer also, that sometimes just a couple of sentences can be just as powerful as getting on a stage in front of thousands of people.
Oh,
And,
yes.
I am reminded time and time again that people are watching, and, they're listening to my interviews, they're watching what I write, reading what I write. And it does have an impact. They may not say it until a year later, but it reminds me to just show up, to just
Oh,
be
yeah.
myself and do what I feel compassionate, or what I feel guided and passionate about to do, because I want to do it, not because I want to have attention or, have my name on a billboard, which I'm not that
Absolutely.
kind of person. But, and I think that's what makes the world go round, really. That's what people really on that soul level. And I like the word enchanted soul. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love how welcoming your energy is as well.
Oh, thank you. Well, I
Well,
try to connect on a soul to soul level, and
right.
really, be where my guest is, and
And it works.
and it works. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So you've had this life journey of coming from a place of low self-esteem, confidence, imposter syndrome, all these internal struggles. Externally, you look like you were on top of the world, but internally. And so you had this clash going on. And then you were kind of pulled into a relationship that really woke all of that up and put you into that next stage of your rebirthing. And so through that rebirthing, you're becoming stronger, wiser, more vibrant, because you haven't stopped smiling this whole interview, which is
Oh,
awesome. And hopefully that's
thank
going to
you.
rub off on people who are watching this. But
Oh.
so before we close this out, share with us what's the next stage and next step of this metamorphosis that you started.
Well, I love being a writer. That's the truth. That's something, and I have some nonprofit dreams actually. Um, like for me, like there are some topics which are very important in aligning and energizing people and in rebalancing the word to get to closer to my word of Pandora. And those topics are basically parenting and education. So those are two topics that are so dear to my heart. So parenting, I would love to be part of some group of people who start something, some like to educate parents on the healthier ways of raising kids, because if you raise the future healthy adults to some extent at least, you keep them connected to their original being to some extent, and they can continue their work later, you have already won, because those adults will be doing the other things that matter to me. Because I have been to Brazil for volunteering programs because I have those dreams. I wanted to start seeing how it is working. And for me, I needed to choose the school program as the first one and the most extended period because of this knowledge and this conviction that they are really able to take care of animals, because this is something that I so care about. Probably it's the most it's the dearest topic now and the closest to my heart, because unlike people who can be accountable, responsible, animals don't have any possibility to take care of themselves. And we have been, like our ancestors have been stealing their word in a way for thousands of years. And it seems to me that it is our duty, not even something that we can do, to provide them with all the care and attention that they need. So for me, animals having a shelter, the biggest shelter possible in the world, is one of my nonprofit dreams. An educational school where the education is really hard, emotional intelligence based, is something that I truly care about as well. And this parenting program, because the school will not work if the kid is not emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually ready to take what the school is about to give this child. So those are basically my dreams. And of course, if I can as well, some rehab in which we can take care of those psychologically abused kids, because we know the sexual abuse, we know the physical abuse, but the most horrible abuse and the most subtle one is the psychological one. And this is something not even known by the law or by any organism, because in very simple words, it doesn't serve the system,
Right.
like it's
Exactly.
something. Yeah, so that's why it's another really dear program or project that I would love to be part of. But I need some people, some tribe who would believe in the same things as well. So if
we can put out there in this talk that if someone has anything and they need some expertise as what Myriam has to offer, feel free to reach out. And with that, how can people find you?
Well, I am on LinkedIn. I am on Biz Catalyst 360. I am on Medium, and of course on my website as well. So those are where I can be active.
And what's your website address?
So it's Unleash Greatness. Hold on a second. It's not my name. I need to look for it. I need to look for
I've done that before.
Hold on a second. Okay, maybe we need to cut this part.
I can cut this out.
Because I need to find it. Yeah, I can't afford to have my my WordPress. I'm horrible in technology. My WordPress website. So this one is not having my name. Yeah, I can find it now. All right, we can redo it again.
So with that said, how can people find you on your website? What's your website address?
All right, so my website is unleashgreatness.blogspot.com. I can also be found on LinkedIn, Biz Catalyst 360, a columnist there, and on Medium as well. I have a blog on Medium.
Okay, sounds awesome. Well, thank you, Myriam. I really enjoyed this conversation and talking about your journey, and you just are fabulous with awesome energy, and you're welcome. And I wish you all the best and a wonderful afternoon.
Oh, thank you, and wish you all the best too. And I was so glad sharing this moment with you as well. I loved it, actually.
Oh, good.
And I want to talk to you again, actually.
Absolutely. We will do this again, and I look forward to it.
Thank you, and I wish you a fabulous afternoon too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.